Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make rock, paper, scissors in AppLab on code.org. Let me play the game for you so you can see how it runs. There's a welcome screen. The only time you see the welcome screen is when the game first starts. You click a button that brings you to the second screen, the game screen. Here we have a label at the top and 3 buttons, rock, paper, scissors. I'm going to choose rock. It goes to the results screen. On the results screen, the background changes a color depending on the results. So yellow means a tie. I chose rock, the computer chose rock, so it's a draw. I play again. I choose rock again. Oh, this time I chose rock, but the computer chose scissors. The computer, by the way, is choosing a random number between 1 and 3, and that's how it chooses rock, paper, or scissors. And so I won this time, and the background's green. Play again. I'm going to choose rock again. Oh man, this time I lost. The background is red and the computer chose paper, so the computer won. And then down here below all of this, you can see I'm keeping track of win, lose, and draw. And I've got 1 in each category. I'll play a few more times. I lost again. I lost again. I'll choose scissors. Oh, I lost again. Oh, finally I win. 2 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. Now, I'm going to show you how to code this game. You're going to have to build the display or the design of the app from scratch. There's no starter file. And let's get started. Okay, we're going to create this app from scratch. So in code.org, click on the Create button up here and choose App Lab. It'll create a brand new blank project for you. We need 3 screens to go into the design view here. Let's call the screen 1. Let's rename that Welcome. And now let's add a new screen. Call screen 2 Game. And 1 more screen. And let's call that screen Results. Okay, let's go back to the Welcome screen. I'm going to speed the video up as I quickly lay out these screen elements. Okay, on the welcome screen, we simply have a label that welcomes them to the game and a button with the ID Play Game. On the game screen, I simply have a label at the top that prompts the user to select rock, paper, or scissors. Now I need to add 3 buttons below that, but here's an easy way to do it. Make 1 button and get it to look just the way you want it, and then duplicate it 2 times. Let me speed the video up as I do that. Now watch as I duplicate and duplicate 1 more time. It's really important that you name each of these buttons appropriately. I have rock button, paper button, and scissors button, and change the text on them as well. Now I'm designing the results screen. You'll see I have 1 label already here, You Chose. Now this is a static label, it will never change, but I'm going to copy it or duplicate it here, and then below it I'm going to change it to rock, paper, or scissors. Doesn't really matter. This particular label is going to change based on the computer code. So it's really important that it has a meaningful name. I'm going to call it Choice Label, and this is the label. This will represent what the user chose. I'm going to duplicate this a couple times over. Okay, now we see that this label is called Choice Label, this one's called Computer Choice Label, and this one is called Winner Label. These are the 3 labels that will change based on the code. The other 3 labels won't change throughout the game. I also need a button down at the bottom. This will be the Play Again button. Now we're ready to start coding. Let's go to Code View and back to the welcome screen. The first thing we want to do is code this button so it goes to the second screen. For that, we need an on event. Let's pull it out here. The ID is the play button. I called it the play game button. When you click that, you want to set the screen to the game screen. Let's test it. We play the game and it goes to this screen. Perfect. That was easy. What I'd like to do is keep all my event functions separate from the rest of the game. So let's go into the show text area. And here above this, let's put a few blank lines, and put a comment right here. We're going to call this our event functions from here down. And then above that area is where we're going to put the rest of our code. Let's go back to show blocks. Our comments now show up as gray blocks. Now we have to think about this code a little bit. We want our computer to be able to choose rock, paper, or scissors as we click one of these buttons. A computer, however, can't choose between those three options very easily. However, a computer can choose numbers randomly very easily. So we need to have some variables that will hold numbers. Those numbers will represent 1 for rock, 2 for paper, and 3 for scissors. Let's create those variables now. Under variables, we're going to pull out a variable here to the very top. This variable will be called computer choice. And we want to give it a random number. Under math, we'll find the random number generator, put it here. We're going to choose a number between 1 and 3. Again, 1 is rock, 2 is paper, 3 is scissors. We'll need another variable called user choice. We don't need to give it a value right away. Now we need 3 more on event functions. We'll put them here. These will handle the 3 buttons on this page. Let's set the ID to rock button, paper button, scissors button. For each of these, we also need a set text block. We're going to set the text of the user choice label. It was called choice label. We want to set the text of that label to either rock, paper, or scissors. However, we also want to assign a number, 1, 2, or 3, to our user choice variable that we set up here. Go to variables. Make sure you use the block that assigns a value to the variable but doesn't include the keyword var at the beginning. You can now see we've assigned a value to user choice, 1, 2, or 3, based on the user's choice, rock, paper, or scissors. Next, we need to create some custom functions. Up here, below our variables, let's bring in 2 function blocks. The first one is going to be called display computer choice, and the second one, calculate winner. Inside the display computer choice, we're going to need a control block, which is blue, and we need an if-else statement. We actually need 2 else statements inside this, so click on the plus button here. We simply want to ask if the computer choice equals 1, then change the label appropriately, like this. We're using the equality operator that checks if 2 things are the same. On the right, we're checking computer choice variable, and we're seeing if its value is 1. If so, set the text of our computer choice label to the word rock. I'm going to repeat this for the other two else clauses, and I'm going to speed the video up. You'll notice we don't have a condition for the third else clause, because if it's not rock or paper, it has to be scissors. Okay, let's go back to those on-event functions we were working on earlier. For the rock button, what we want to do is call these functions that we just got done creating. So in the rock button, let's pull out two of these function call blocks. For the first one, we're going to call calculate winner. And in the second one, called display computer choice. We're now going to repeat that for the other two on event buttons. I'm going to speed up the video. And finally, in each of these on-event functions, we need to set the screen to the results screen. At this point, we should be able to test the game and see some of the functionality. It starts on the welcome screen. I hit play game. I choose rock, and it brings me to the third screen. What I'm seeing here is that these labels aren't quite big enough to hold the results, but it shows that I chose rock and the computer chose paper. Now, it's not calculating the winner properly yet because I haven't done that part of the game. I'm now in design view and back on the results screen. Let's take these different labels and just make them a little bit wider and maybe center the values there in the center. And that way, no matter what word is displayed there, it'll always be big enough. Let's go ahead and test this game one more time. Hit run, play game. I'll choose paper. The computer chose paper. And again, the play button doesn't work. Play again button doesn't work, but I can reset, run, play the game. This time I'll choose rock. The computer chose scissors. If you're wondering what if the computer choice is working properly, one thing you can do is go ahead and output the computer choice to the console. Here's how. Click on the Show Text button here. Go into Code View here. And right below the computer choice variable on line 1, write console.log. You'll see the option there. And in parentheses, put the variable that you want to output, computer choice. And what this will do is then in the console down below, it's called the debug console, it will display whatever the choice, the random number choice the computer made. Let's go back to show blocks. And now reset it and test it. Now we can see that the computer chose 2. And if I also choose 2, paper, it should say I chose paper and the computer chose paper. Reset. Run, play game. This time I choose scissors. Looks like the computer chose 2 again, which is paper. And this way, with the number down here, you can see what the computer is choosing and see if it's correct in what's displayed on the results screen. Okay, now we need to go and finish the calculate winner function. This is where all the logic of the program is written. Okay, in the calculate winner function, we need first a control statement, an if-else statement. We're going to ask if the user choice and the computer choice are the same, so we need a equality statement, equality operator. So if the user choice and the computer choice are the same, that means we have a draw. We need to set the text of the winner label to draw. And another nice little feature is we can set the property of the results screen for its background color to be yellow. Now the else statement will handle 3 other possible options. And so we're going to take another if statement, this is a nested if statement, and put it inside the else clause. The first choice is if it's a draw. If it's not a draw, there are 6 other possible choices. So we need one if statement and 5 else clauses. Let's click the plus down here. Oops, one too many. Let's get rid of one. So one if statement and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 else clauses. Here we're going to use what's called a Boolean operator. It's the double ampersand. What this allows you to do is check 2 conditions at once. For both of them, on both sides, we're going to check if 2 things are equal. We're going to ask if the user choice equals 1 and the computer choice equals 3. If this is true, that means the user chose paper and the computer chose scissors. So this means the user wins. We'll set the text of the winner label to you, meaning the user, and the ID of the results screen, its background color, to green. Remember, green is you won, red is you lost, and yellow is a draw. Now we need to repeat this kind of thing for every other possible combination. So we'll deal with the user choice being 1 first, then 2, then 3. I'm going to speed up the video a bit. Now you're going to have to watch your spelling really carefully. Any misspelled words will mess it up. And you need to make sure that you're checking every possible option. I suggest you use user choice 1, and then do 2 for the user choice 2, and then do 2 for user choice 3. And then make sure you're comparing it against the other 2 options. Remember, the first if statement up above handles it if they're the same. So none of these numbers should be the same. Okay, now you need to go ahead and put the set text and set property code in each of these other 5 else if blocks. However, as you can tell, it takes a while to do that. You might want to go into the show text and simply copy these. Control C will copy, and then Control V will paste. It's a lot faster that way. Show blocks again. Now you can go in and just simply edit the values in here. Okay, if you did this correctly, there should be 3 times that you win and 3 times the computer wins out of these 6 choices. So I've got you and computer, you and computer, you and computer. Let's test the game and see if it works. Play the game. I'm going to choose rock. Computer chose rock as well. We can see down here the number 1 represents the rock, and so it's a draw, and the background is yellow. I'm going to play again. Oops, play again button doesn't work yet. I'm going to reset, run, play the game. I choose scissors. The computer chose paper, so I win, and the background is green. You get the idea. You're going to have to check your code to make sure it works properly and the color is set correctly. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is code the play again button. From the results screen, go to the UI controls and pull out one more on event function, put it down here at the bottom. The ID that we want to work with is the play again button, and we want to code its click event. We want to take out another variable block. We want to set that computer choice once again to a random number. That random number needs to be between 1 and 3. And then we need to set the screen under UI controls to go back to the game screen. And this will, by creating a new random number, allow the user then to choose one of the buttons, and we're off to playing the game again. Let's test this one more time. I choose paper, the computer chose scissors. I lose, the computer is the winner. Play again. I choose rock. We both chose rock. It's a draw. The colors are correct. I choose paper again. It's a draw again. I choose rock. The computer chose scissors. I win. This is awesome. The colors look great. It's all working. Now, if you remember from the original game I showed you, there was also a scoreboard down at the bottom that was keeping track of wins, loses, and draws. That could be an extra challenge for you if you'd like to figure out how to do that. You would need to create 3 new variables, one for win, one for lose, one for draw. Create those at the top. And then every time there's a win, a lose, or a draw, you would add 1 to that variable. Then you'd also have to have 3 labels down here, at least 3, and you'd have to display those variables, the current values of those variables down here in the labels. So I'm sure you can figure that out. It's a nice challenge. I'd like you to go ahead and give that a try. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and it was helpful, and I'll see you next time.